Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have returned from their unofficial tour of Colombia, but the 4-day visit has been unsurprisingly polarising. Joining us is Reilly Sullivan, who's a brilliant reporter here at skynews.com.au. Reilly, the Sussexes have just returned from another royal tour that's not a royal tour, this time to Colombia. How did the trip pan out?
Right, well, this trip was, as expected, very polarising, as you said. You know, we saw Harry and Meghan travelling all over Colombia. They were accompanied by the Vice President, Francia Marquez. They went to Bogota, they went to Cali. They went to a place called San Basilio de Palenque, which is a historic town linked to slavery and the end of the slave trade. And so a very sombre trip as well. It wasn't just, you know, all fun photo ops. But I think the public relations side of it has been pretty positive for the Sussexes. You know, there's been a heap of coverage of it, very much like the Nigeria trip, looking very royal, very official. But certainly, you know, it was polarising.
Okay, and during one of the Sussexes' stops in Colombia, locals told reporters that they hoped that Harry and Meghan would apologise for the royal family's links to slavery. Has the royal family reacted to the comments? Is it a sign of things to come?
This is challenging because obviously all monarchies around the world are grappling with how do they kind of come to terms with their historical ties to slavery. Really, the only major monarchy is the Netherlands that have publicly apologised for their historical links to slavery. But as you said, when they were in Colombia, in San Basilio, there were some local people that were calling on Harry and Meghan to make an apology for slavery. Obviously, the history of Colombia is Spanish colonialism, so it was kind of an awkward comment, but you can understand that they're coming from a place of seeing these, you know, these royal European figureheads coming to their country, and they're probably seeing a disconnect. I think for King Charles, this is really concerning. You know, the royal family itself is still, as I said, working out how they're going to approach this issue. Charles certainly hasn't apologised for slavery. He's expressed sorrow for slavery, which is a huge step forward than what, say, Queen Elizabeth has said, but he certainly hasn't really got to that point. So he'll be looking at this and thinking, you know, this is just another reason why Harry and Meghan shouldn't be doing these unofficial trips, because, you know, inadvertently, even if they say they're there as Harry and Meghan and not as the royal family, they're being sort of questioned on these big issues that, frankly, I don't think they can handle. Yeah,
that's a fair point. Look, sources close to Prince William say that he's furious with Harry and Meghan for not respecting Princess Catherine's wishes. What request is he referring to?
So we understand now that, you know, Harry and Meghan's relationship with Kate and William is pretty much broken down. Any correspondence they do have is just that, it's official correspondence. And it was an interesting one, you know. Princess Catherine in her personal life, we know her as Kate, we love her as Kate, but in her personal life she prefers to be called Catherine. That's obviously her full name. And she has expressed that to family and friends that for over a decade now, that she likes to be called Catherine. And Harry and Meghan have continuously, you know, called her Kate. Like, you can even remember the Oprah interview when Meghan famously brought up the whole weighty Katie comment, which was very offensive. She called her Kate several times in that interview. And allegedly, you know, even as recently as since Princess Catherine's been diagnosed with cancer, they've sent letters to the princess calling her Kate again. And William in particular is just infuriated by this, because I think that, you know, granted, you know, Catherine's got a lot on her plate at the moment. I don't think she's too concerned about it. But for William, I think it just digs at him, because we know that Meghan herself, I guess the hypocrisy of it is she is very sensitive about her titles. Like, with the media, she likes to be Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, nothing more, nothing less. So it's kind of funny that, you know, she's very sensitive about that, but apparently not so much with her sister-in-law.
Of course not. No, sadly, it does not surprise me. This week we found out that King Charles has terminated the security team stationed at Prince Andrew's home, Royal Lodge. Is this a sign that the Duke of York could be evicted?
I think we've called this for months now. You know, this is just another sign, I think, that Andrew and his ex-wife, Fergie, they're on the way out. I think that this is a pretty significant move by the King. It goes to show that, you know, if there's no security force around the Royal Lodge, I mean, effectively, there's no plans for it to be used as a royal residence for the time being. So I would, if I was Andrew, I'd be looking at, I don't know, the real estate websites. Like, I'd be looking for rentals or an Airbnb, because from the looks of it, they're going to be without security in December.
Wow, okay. Reilly Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be back.